Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And it is currently 6:04 p.m. and I am sitting here with my coffee. I'm finally getting to just kind of sit down and relax for the day. I have been running all day long. I have my home group tonight for my 12-step program. So I'm gonna go in about an hour and pick up my best friend, my good Judy Tanya. And we'll go to our meeting tonight. And I'm real excited for it. Like, I just kind of need some peace and serenity today. I've had a great day. I've had a really fantastic day. Last night was really tough. I was going to bed and, you know, I think that grieving is an interesting journey of its own. And I was laying in bed and I started going through pictures and videos of Pee-Pee, and I really struggled. I was like laying there really like bawling my eyes out, and I just was thinking to myself, like, I want him here. Like, I want him here now, you know? And I know that that's not realistic. And then, you know, Alex and I were texting today, and we're both kind of like, the last couple days have been a struggle. So it kind of like ebbs and flows, you know? And I think it's just for me about feeling my feelings and feeling my emotions. But other than that, today has been a good day. I drove around and I listened to a lot of music, and I like to put my iTunes just on shuffle. And it's interesting, like I think you guys would be surprised if you knew a lot of the music that I've listened to, you know, like, or a lot of my favorite music. And it, you know, ranges all over the place from pop music to electronic dance music to, you know, Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead and Judy Collins, you know, and the Pogues and the Pixies and the Smiths and the Cure, and to classical music. And I was listening to all kinds of things today, and I just, I went and got coffee and I did a review video, you know, at Starbucks. And then after that, I was just driving around listening to music, and I found such a state of just kind of calm. And in that moment, I was just kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily like overjoyous and happy, but I felt peaceful. I felt serene. And it's interesting because there are also moments like when I'm here and I'm filming that I feel very much that Pee-Pee is very close to me. So it's been a good day today. Last night kind of caught me off guard before I went to bed, and you know, but I'm happy that today I am able to feel my emotions, and that I allow myself to feel my emotions. And I think that that is one thing that, you know, people ask me a lot about grieving and how to get through it and stuff. I'm no expert. I don't know, you know. It's just based on what I've done myself. I will say that number one thing that I've learned that's helped me the most is allowing myself to feel my emotions whenever they are. You know, if you're at work and you need to go into the bathroom for 5 minutes and feel your emotions, that's okay. That's okay, you know, and people will understand that. And so that's just what I do from, you know, day to day. But I wanted to get on here and I wanted to read a couple meditations on here. I've gotten a lot more people that have been watching this channel lately. It's really cool. And thank you to the new people over here that are watching, or if you guys have been, I don't know, like, subscribed to this channel for a while and are just now watching some of these videos. Thank you for coming over here. You know, this place, this channel, this is a place for me to be able just to read meditations that I would normally read anyway, and just kind of talk out loud about how I feel about that. And then you guys respond a lot in the comments, and I read your comments, and you share stories with me, and you share things you're going through. And I don't know, this channel is a magical place for me, you know. And it's interesting because people often ask me, like, if you could only keep one channel, which one would you keep, you know? And I don't love playing those what if games. I don't really know what channel I would keep. I mean, each one of them is like, it's like having 5 different friends, and each friend is in your life for a different reason. And that's kind of what it's like. And but I love this channel, and I love the ability to read the meditations and kind of process them and talk about them over here. So, okay, the first one I want to read is from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations. Like I always say, this is one of my favorite books to just kind of get your life or your day started in a positive way. And they aren't all necessarily super positive. They are, some of them, you know, very thoughtful, very insightful. So today, January 14th, stages. Start by doing what's necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. St. Francis of Assisi. One step at a time, that's all we can do. But it can be more than enough. There are things we have to do each day. Go to work, care for a child, prepare a meal. And there are things we do because we want to. Volunteer for a community organization, host a party for a friend, plant a garden. We bustle about happily doing all that we need to do, plus the things that bring pleasure to ourselves and others. We might be intimidated by the amount of work involved, but by simply doing things, we can accomplish more than we think. Instead of thinking about how I can't possibly do something I want to do, I'll just start doing what I can and see where it leads. You know, it's interesting that a lot of these meditations at the beginning of the year are talking about, you know, just putting one foot in front of the other. And, you know, I said that to Alex today. You know, we were texting, and I said, we were kind of talking about, like, how do we, like, move on from this, you know? And I said, I don't know, I guess we just put one foot in front of the other and lean on each other, you know? And I think that's with anything in life, you know? It's with goals that you have for 2020, you know? It's like, you know, okay, so it's January 14th. Have you failed at all of your goals? Well, start over tomorrow. It's not too late, you know, and put one foot in front of the other and do some small thing that you can towards. Tucker is literally like, just like, he's not even running. He's just kind of like trotting circles around the kitchen and the living room. They just ate dinner, so yeah, it kind of cracks me up. But anyway, but you know, like, it's about doing one small thing each day that will get you closer to where you want to get to, or get you closer to, you know, the goals that you're wanting to achieve and things like that. And if you feel like you have 100 things that you have to do, you know, I'm a list maker, so I make a list every single day. The night before I go to bed, I sit down and I make a list. I was looking at the window, I was like, it looked like there was a little animal looking in at me, but there's not. Every day, or every night before I go to bed, I make a list of all the things that here he comes again. I make a list of all of the things that I need to do the next day, or the things I want to. And number one on there always is coffee, okay? Because I know that's something that I'm going to do, and I know that that's something that I want to do. And so I feel like it's like I start my day off achieving one goal that I can cross the line out of, you know? And then I go on there and I put errands, and I put things that I want to do, and I put the videos that I want to make, and, you know, like my meeting, if I'm going to my meeting, pick up Tanya, I put all that stuff on there. I put my day basically on there. I kind of outline my day. And then, of course, you know, other things happen throughout the day that are fun, and other things that happen that come my way that I didn't expect that I have to deal with, and that's just kind of life, you know? But I think that I never beat myself up anymore. You know, when I used to, back in the day when I worked in a treatment facility, the night before I left, or like when I would leave for the day, I would make a list of all the things I needed to do the next day, right? Well, the things I hadn't completed that day, I didn't beat myself up for. I just put them on my list for the next day, you know? And I think that's kind of the thing. Now for me, if I find that there are things that are going over and over and over for days on end, I have kind of a list of goals that I want to achieve that month, and that's kind of what I do. But you just have to put one foot in front of the other and try to achieve as much as you can that day. And I don't know about you, but here he comes again. I feel like he's at the gym and he's walking on that track around. Do you hear his little feet? But you know, I think like, I think it's just about trying, I don't know what I was about to say. I got distracted with the track walking. I think it's just about like every day doing the best you can, you know? And it's like, oh, I know what I was gonna say. Like, do you ever like wake up and like, typically when I have a lot to do, those are days that I get a lot done. On days that I have like literally nothing to do, you know, like no appointments, no this, no that, I have nowhere to go, I have nothing, you know? It's like, you know, like, it's like I don't have any, you know, like vet appointments or anything that I have to go to. He's literally just walking circles. I don't get a lot done those days, you know? The other thing is I have to be forgiving of myself that there are going to just be some days I'm just not going to get a lot done, you know? And it's just not that big of a deal, right? So that's a good meditation. Okay, now let's go to a mindful evening, and let's just randomly pick out a meditation. Oh, this will be a good one. It was the one right before the last one. Seek balance. Human perception organizes sense out of space and time. If you change the ratios, as McLuhan would say, you change the person. Ratio is the root word of rational. Paul D. Miller, aka DJ Spooky. I don't know who that person is. Okay. La da da. Oh, it's, they're singing some song, Baby, Baby, Baby. Where would pop music be without basically nonsensical sounds? It just goes to show that music, like life, is not primarily about the proper ordering of concepts. That is a hard lesson for a philosopher to swallow. But what is lost in the form of logic is regained in the form of music. Living according to melody is much easier. This is so funny because I started my meditation, or I started my video off today talking about music. Living according to melody is much easier than living according to the dictates of reason. Reason. What an unattainable, undefinable, cruel idea. So true. But the strains of music lift the disillusioned idealist to a better place in the heart. What is lost in the world can be regained in the space of sound. We spend so much time in the fruitless and untrue opposition between mind and heart. What if the two are not bitter enemies, but lovers intertwined? I'm gonna read that again. Whoever wrote this person, David Dillard Wright, PhD, is a fantastic writer. We spend so much time in the fruitless and untrue opposition between mind and heart. So what we feel and what we know, okay? So like it's that, you know, like when people say, do you feel it in your gut or do you feel it in your heart? It's very much that, right? What if the two are not bitter enemies, but lovers intertwined? This evening, make the journey into the heart center and concentrate your attention there. So go to what you are feeling, what your heart tells you about some situation that you're going through. Find and balance the masculine and feminine energies, the left and the right side of the body. Tucker is cracking me up. The thinking and the feeling self. Gaze on this vital center and feel the currents of vital energy, making it blaze brightly with universal compassion. Hear the music of rushing blood commingle with the music of the spheres. I love that. I think, you know, balance is interesting. I've talked about this on here before, but like the second sponsor that I ever had was the husband of a friend of mine, and I later worked with her. And I remember we were in a meeting and the meeting topic was balance. And I said something, you know, at that point in my sobriety, I was early in sobriety. I thought, you know, like, oh, you got to say what sounds good. I know that not to be true today. Don't ever, if you're in 12-step meetings or whatever, don't sit in a meeting and try to say something that you think sounds good to other people. It just doesn't matter, okay? Say what is true in your heart. Tell your truth. Tell your story. Tell on yourself whatever you have to do. Just get it out how you're feeling. That's the reason you're there to begin with. And I wasted a lot of time in meetings telling people in my first couple years of sobriety what I thought sounded good, and it's just a waste of time. So I was sitting there, and you know, it came to balance, or it came to me, and I was talking about balance, and I said something like, yeah, like I think I do a pretty good job of balancing my, I mean, I'm like a year sober at the time, right? A year and a half, I don't actually know how much time I had at that time, but I was like, you know, like I had no balance in my life. There was no way I could have had any balance in my life. I was so early in sobriety that me trying to tell anybody about anything in the world was ridiculous. Anyway, I should have shut my mouth and just opened my ears like people later told me, you know? And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, I think I have pretty good balance in my life. Like, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And it came to my sponsor, who at the time I think had like 6 or 7 years. And it's really sad. He since has passed away from an overdose. He was a fantastic man, and I would not be here today if it wasn't for his grace and glory. But, you know, he said, I have absolutely no balance in my life whatsoever. And he was like, I'd like to try to think that I did. But he goes, you know, between my job and my sobriety and my kids and my wife, he's like, there's no way. He's like, so I do the best I can on a daily basis or something like that. But he's like, I have no balance in my life whatsoever. And I was like, that honesty was so attractive to me. Like, I was like, it had nothing to do with balance. I could care less about balance, right? It was about the honesty of that moment of what he spoke, his authenticity and his being absolutely genuine in that moment. Like, that was what was attractive to me. And that is who I have aimed to be since, you know? And so, you know, I think that it doesn't really matter if we balance our life out. I think that's such a kind of a crap concept. We try, right? Do you try, like, to have good balance between work and home, okay? If you even need to ask yourself the question, am I balancing out my work and home? The answer is no, okay? You're working too damn much, and you're not spending time enough with the people that you love. You need to be focusing more time and attention on the people that you love. If you're in a position where you have to work 2 and 3 jobs, and you can't do that, okay? And you're just getting by because you can barely pay the bills, and you have to work 15 hours a day, then forgive yourself, okay? Then don't try to balance it out, because there's no other alternative to it anyway. And I've been at those points in my life where I would like, yeah, I'd love to be at home with my boyfriend, or I would love to be at home, you know, like hanging out with my friends. Unfortunately, I have to work 60 hours this week because I have to pay the bills. That's just the reality. We can seek all the balance that we want in the world, you know? But the other side of that is this, is that if you are, let's say, spending a lot of time and energy at work, and you're not balancing that out with, you know, being able to have recreational time or spend time with your kids or your family, just because you can't change that doesn't mean that you can't talk about it. Doesn't mean that you can't sit down with your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your kids and say, you know what, listen, I really wish I was in a position to have more balance in my life and spend more time at home. Unfortunately, right now, I can't. And I'm working really hard to get to the point where I can do that. And I just want you to know I love you, and my heart is here, even though I can't be here. I think it's good for us to have those open and honest conversations. Like I said, you know, with my sponsor, back then, it was never about what he said. It was about the truth that he spoke. And I think that, you know, that's way underrated these days. So anyway, let me know what you think about those meditations. And I liked them. And not that it matters. But anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.